In the no-so-distant past, Microsoft had no genuine contest when it came to Windows 2 in 1 second. I'm talking tablets with separable consoles here, where there were not many solid options in contrast to the Surface Pro for quite a long time. At the point when the less expensive Surface Go sent off in 2018, few might have anticipated how the structure factor was going to take off. Only 4 years after the fact, any semblance of Dell, Asus, and Lenovo all currently make convincing Windows 2 in 1 second worth considering. However, it's another organization that is the focal point of this survey, Huawei. The MateBook E is an alluring choice on paper, particularly with the tablet and console cover accessible for not exactly most opponents. Yet, might it at any point convey a convincing involvement with this more reasonable price tag? Here is my full survey. Plan and build. Premium look and feel. Amazing cameras. Unfortunate finger impression sensor, just a single port. Fantastic equipment has for some time been one of Huawei's key assets, and that is the same here. The MateBook E closely resembles a superior gadget, regardless of being somewhat reasonable. The firm has kept away from the enticement of an all-glass configuration, selecting an aluminum finish on the back. It's just accessible in one tone, nebula gray. However, the finished completion adds a lot of additional hold. While involving the MateBook E as an ordinary tablet, I had no issue going sans case. Be that as it may, it is to a greater degree a unique finger impression magnet as opposed to you could anticipate. The actual tablet weighs 709 grams, making it heavier than the 12.9 in iPad Pro yet lighter than the Surface Pro 8. I found it agreeable to hold for a couple of moments, however longer meetings required setting it up someplace. Huawei has kept things basic on the rear of the MateBook E beside the organization's logo and a removable sticker. The main other component of note is a little camera module. Here, you'll track down a 13MP back camera and separate blaze. While I don't suggest taking bunches of photographs with any tablet, stills from the MateBook E were an unexpected, yet wonderful treat. Large numbers of the shots I took offered a respectable degree of detail and energetic variety, regardless of whether they won't match most cell phones. Openness is its fundamental shortcoming, yet it ought to be fine for family photographs and possibly online entertainment. Maybe more critical are the highlights incorporated into the camera application, which incorporate committed modes for examining standardized identifications, archives, and whiteboards. In these situations, the MateBook E's back camera turns into an amazing asset. The camera module distends marginally from the rear of the tablet. However, it stays consistent when utilized level on a table. I really do wish there was an underlying stand on the actual tablet, however, similar to the case on the Surface Pro 8, thus many opponent. Flipping the MateBook E over uncovers a huge 12.6 inch showcase, with tight bezels giving it a noteworthy 90% screen-to-body proportion. The bezels have a similar thickness by and large around the gadget, giving it an appealing balance. Given you really want some place to hold a tablet, there's not a glaringly obvious explanation for Huawei to make them any more modest. Embellishments. Great console cover remembered for the cost. Incorporates worked-in stand, however doesn't feel especially sturdy. Superb pointer experience, including attractive charging. The MateBook E performs well as an independent tablet, however the frill transform it into a real efficiency gadget. Luckily, the most urgent of these, the console, is packaged with the gadget not at all like the Surface Pro. In particular, it's Huawei's smart magnetic keyboard, which conveys 3 advantages in one: an actual console and trackpad, worked-in stand, and all-around security. Associating with the MateBook E couldn't be more straightforward. Simply join through areas of strength and it's all set. The cover has a comparable plan to Apple's exemplary smart cover, where you twist the material into your picked position. It feels vigorous and offers an extensive variety of review points. However, I feel somewhat skeptical about its drawn-out toughness. Screen and speakers. Great 12.6 in OLED show. Still just 60 Hz revive rate. Strong quad speakers. The MateBook E flaunts a 12.6 in 2560 by 1600 showcase. That makes it marginally more modest than both the 12.9 in iPad Pro and Surface Pro 8, yet neither of those gadgets have an OLED screen. Shockingly, that makes it the primary Huawei PC to utilize OLED. However, you wouldn't know it. Colors are rich and dynamic, while the default backdrop helps exhibit its profound blacks. The benchmarks back this up, as the showcase covered 96% of the Adobe RGB variety range in testing with a Spyder X, as well as 100% sRGB and DCI-P3. There's no questioning it's a brilliant screen. The main genuine impediment of the MateBook E show is its revive rate. You're restricted to only 60 Hz, with many opponents offering 90 or 120 Hz. That implies it's likewise not versatile. so can't drop down to draw out battery duration. Specs and performance. Just 2 arrangements accessible in the UK. Top spec model conveys amazing execution. SSD capacity upholds microSD extension. The MateBook E's mid-range beginning cost covers the reality. It's utilizing an Intel Core i3-1110G4 processor. A great many people will require more power than that, so I'd prescribe moving forward to the Core i5-1130G7 chip if possible. The model I tried joins it with 16GB of RAM and a 512GB SSD. However, the 8 divided by 128GB design might be adequate for certain individuals, particularly with microSD card extension. Regardless of whether you need to pay altogether something else for it, execution during my experience with the top-spec MateBook E was magnificent. It took care of errands, for example, web perusing, word handling, and performing multiple tasks easily, while even some essential altering isn't impossible. Programming and apps. Windows 11 Home pre-introduced. A few Huawei explicit devices, and highlights. Out of the crate, the MateBook E runs Windows 11 Home. That implies you don't need to go through the issue of updating from Windows 10, which can take some time. The client experience here is similarly as some other Windows 11 touchscreen, with Huawei's impact restricted to a small bunch of applications and devices. Boss among them is an organization explicit control panel, complete with highlights to assist the MateBook E with working consistently with other Huawei gadgets. This incorporates sharing records, interfacing with outer shows, and really looking at telephone notices. Battery duration and charging. 42Wh battery. Disappointing battery duration. Nice 65W charging by means of USB-C. When I saw the battery limit of the MateBook E, I was worried about how long it would endure. A 42Wh cell is unquestionably on the little size. Sadly, battery duration ends up being the primary shortcoming of the gadget. Indeed, even with brilliance set to a generally faint 120 nits, it didn't break the 6-hour mark in our typical video circle test. I recorded 5 hours 56 minutes. While battery saver mode was switched off, you'll in any case battle to endure a full working day.